Chaos had spread throughout the eastern kingdoms as the capital city of Lordaeron had fallen to the Scourge during the time period of the Third War. Soon after, the great mage city of Dalaran also fell to the undead horde, and more desperate solutions were called for to end this menace. Arugal, an archmage of the Kirintor and a Gilnean, retreated to Shadowfang Keep to move forward with his plan to defend the remnants of Lordaeron and the kingdom of Gilneas. Utilizing the research notes of a fellow mage who had perished in the attack on Dalaran, Arugal sought to summon the creatures had become well known for studying, the Worgen. These mythical, ferocious wolfmen were just what the mage needed to beat back the undead. Arugal managed to successfully summon the Worgen from their plane of existence, and he let them loose upon the Scourge. However, the Worgen were not as easily controlled as he had thought, and began turning on the defending humans. The Worgen multiplied as those they attacked succumbed to a curse that turned them into beasts as well. Burdened by an immense guilt of what he had done, Arugal was driven into insanity. The Archmage began viewing the Worgen as his children, and fortified himself within Shadowfang Keep. Years later, after the Scourge threat had mostly died down, and the two main factions had settled, Arugal's Worgen began to run amok throughout Silverpine. Arugal himself had started serving under Alpha Prime, the leader of the Feral Worgen. Proving a threat, or at least a nuisance to the Forsaken, a group of adventurers were sent into Shadowfang Keep to put an end to the Archmage. With the death of Arugal, Shadowfang Keep had remained mostly uninhabited, at least until after the events of the Wrathgate and the rebellion of a portion of the Forsaken's Royal Apothecary Society. 3 rogue apothecaries had relocated their operations to the empty keep, where they took advantage of the season for which love is in the air, and began testing a mind-altering potion by circulating it in the form of perfumes and colognes. In the main cities of the 2 major factions, an investigator sent by the Steamweedle cartel uncovered the special properties of the products, as well as a number of rockets loaded with the substance. Having all the evidence they needed, and uncovering their base of operations, a group of adventurers were sent in to put a stop to whatever they were planning. And so for a second time, the halls of Shadowfang Keep were silent. After the events of the Cataclysm and the breaking of the Grey Main Wall, the Forsaken invaded Gilneas in force. The Gilneans put up more of a fight than they were expecting, however, so they turned to finding other solutions to conquering the kingdom. The Forsaken caught wind of the man named Godfrey, a lord of Gilneas who strongly opposed the Worgen, and started a coup when the Worgen citizens began integrating into the society. Upon finding out that his very own king was one of the beasts, he took his life rather than live under the rule of one. Recovering the body of Lord Godfrey, as well as his partners Baron Ashbury and Lord Walden, Sylvanas used her Valkyr to resurrect the trio. Godfrey was very much calm about the situation, and was willing to work with the Forsaken if it meant being able to wipe out the Worgen. The 3 led the attack on Pyrewood Village, a settlement outside of Shadowfang Keep, which had become a sort of base of operations for the Gilnean hero Darius Crowley and his resistance group. Godfrey managed to capture Crowley's daughter, Lorna, and was ordered by Sylvanas to use her as a bargaining tool. With her as a hostage, Sylvanas forced Crowley to surrender the battle and allowed the resistance to retreat back into Gilneas. This act of mercy didn't quite sit well with Godfrey, who wanted nothing more than the eradication of any and all Worgen. Looking upon the Banshee Queen with disgust, he shot her in the back, killing her instantly. Ashbury and Walden at his side, they retreated into Shadowfang Keep. Pursuing them later on inside is Ivor Bloodfang, leader of a group of Worgens seeking vengeance on Crowley for those of his kind fallen by his hand. Accompanied by a group of adventurers, he and his pack storm Shadowfang Keep and kill anyone in their path. Of course, that is if you go in as alliance. On the Horde side, Sylvanas is resurrected thanks to the sacrifice of a number of her Valkyr. Being the kind and forgiving queen she is, Sylvanas sends a Commander Belmont and a number of adventurers into Shadowfang Keep to personally deliver Godfrey's severance package. You know, with all the shit that goes on in there, you figure they would have thought